been a long time coming, but now we're going to go over the other part of the Oracle games, the Oracle of Seasons. The Oracle of Seasons was released May 14th, 2001, the same day as the Oracle of Ages. The game centers around our hero Link, trying to save the dancer Din, who Link meets in the beginning after he falls into the land of Holodrum. You meet Din as she is traveling along with a musical troupe. Din is revealed to be the Oracle of Seasons by Onyx, General of Darkness. A tornado carries everyone away, and even though Link tries to protect her, Din is taken away to Onyx's castle. Onyx imprisons her in Crystal, copycat, and then makes the Temple of Seasons fall into the earth. Somehow. This causes the seasons in the land of Holodrum to become all out of whack. Once all that happens, Impa reveals that she is not the cook for the troupe as she said earlier, but really the nursemaid of Princess Zelda of Hyrule, and was sent to take Din back with her to Hyrule. But she really screwed the pooch on that one. Link is then told to go ask the Great Maker Tree for help, but first he needs to prove his courage. Isn't the Mark of the Triforce proof enough? Apparently not, but a wooden sword is. Once you have the sword, you meet the Great Maker Tree, and unlike the Librarian counterpart, he is a male tree because trees have gender. Apparently, it's his job to protect Din, so he screwed the pooch too. He asked you to save Din in his stead. So, you are off on your adventure to find the 8 essences of nature and save the land of Holodrum. So what can I say about Oracle of Seasons that I didn't already say about Oracle of Ages? The two games are very similar, but they are not identical. The main difference between Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons is that the Oracle of Ages is more puzzle-based, while Oracle of Seasons is more of an action-based gameplay. But as far as gameplay mechanics go, they're both very similar. Also, a majority of the items in Oracle of Ages and Seasons are in both games. Only a few are in either Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Seasons, respectively. An interesting thing to know about Oracle of Ages and Seasons is that there are characters in each game that are from other Zelda games. In Oracle of Ages, many characters from Majora's Mask make an appearance. In Oracle of Seasons, a lot of characters from Ocarina of Time make an appearance. It's also interesting to note that most of the characters that are reoccurring are part of the trading sequence. But this is not the last time these characters make an appearance in other games, but I would venture to say it is the first. So apart from having characters from other Zelda games, Oracle of Seasons has a lot in common with other Zelda games in the series. Now, some could say this is true of every Zelda game, but I would say this game does it the most. For example, the first dungeon in Oracle of Seasons, the Gnarled Root Dungeon, closely resembles the first level of the original Legend of Zelda, as they are both located on a small island and both need to be accessed via bridge. More than that, the layout of the map is similar too. It also has the exact same boss, Aquamantis. Now, it would be irresponsible for me not to say at this point that while the Oracle games were originally intended to be a trilogy of games, the Oracle of Seasons was going to be a remake of the original Legend of Zelda. This is why the first dungeon is so similar, and why there are so many enemies in Oracle of Seasons from the original Legend of Zelda. Once you've finished the first dungeon, you progress through the game by heading east to find the second dungeon and the next essence of nature. You find a mysterious hooded girl, and you know it's a girl because she's wearing a bow. She talks about needing to get back home and the importance of not being followed. So, we now let the super sneakiness commence. By following her, you find a portal that leads you to the land of Subrosia, a subterranean land where all the inhabitants wear full-bodied cloaks and seem to be resistant to heat as they bathe and eat lava. Here we find the Temple of Seasons, where you can get the most important item in the game, the Rod of Seasons. With the rod, you can change the seasons of the land of Holodrum, but you don't start with all the seasons. The first season you can control is winter, which is essential for getting into the second dungeon. Big surprise. This pretty much sums up the basics of the game. Without going into too much more, I would like to say that both Oracle games are great installments in the Legend of Zelda series. If you haven't played the game yet, I highly recommend you checking it out. Sooner or later, I will go over how the linked game works in the third installment of the Oracle videos. The next video in the Oracle games will be spoilerific. I will not hold back any spoilers, which I try to do in these videos, but if you'd like to watch it, leave a comment saying so. And if you don't mind spoilers, well, maybe I'll talk about spoilers more often. Now this video might be before or after I make a Wind Waker Legend video. It all depends on what's easier to make. See you all later!
Zelda returns to Game Boy Color in an adventure too big for just one game. Rated E for everyone.
Get into it!